Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rebel Crayon. Anyone want to fill me in on what happened last time?
Well, you
What? You were
killed
there?
Was I? I don't remember.
I remember a lot of tea and plans.
and murder.
Am I? There was some murder. There was some murder. Okay,
And
but I,
spotting.
I believe I believe if I am not wrong, that the Empress is a little bit cross with us. Is that right? Because there was I think one of her entanglements is there was a rebellion in one of the regions that we took originally. Is that right?
And
Yes.
the uprisings in Bel Heather have been going on, and so the Imperial troops have been sent in to protect the taxes.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, let's do our little intros. Hey, I'm Strash. He, him. You can find me at Strash A on the Twitters. One of the regular streamers here. I'm going to be playing Artair, who's basically. What did our friends in chat say? It's a Final Fantasy character of some sort.
Yes.
I'm our resident badass. The playbook I'm playing is the Vengeant, and yeah. So that's the thing. Oh, before we continue, I should mention that, as is our wont here on Actual Play, until the apocalypse stops happening, all of the funds, which is like subscriptions and cheers and the like that we get here, are actually getting split between the Translegal Defense Fund and BLM. So that's the thing. If you donate, that's where it goes. That's all I got. Luke, do some intros.
Hello, everyone. It's me. It's Luke. You can find me on Twitter at Wildwoods Games. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a game designer. If I had been organized, I should have put out a playtest packet already by now today, but I'm going to get to it after this game.
Game design.
What I've got going on. Lauren, what have you got going on?
So I'm Laura Yushibe, at the Stray QE on the internet and everywhere else. Today I'll be playing Kael Lolaire, who is the claimant in Rebel Crown. She is the one leading the rebellion against the evil usurper king, who absolutely doesn't belong there at all, to like reclaim rightful title to the throne, and then hopefully just disestablish property lore and stuff as we know it. I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of this, but we'll see. How are you doing, Judd?
I'm okay. Yeah, thanks. Judd, my name is Judd, he, him, and happy Kalmus, if that's
Yes.
you are of the witchy faith, of the fictional Rebel Crown witchy faith, and happy Hanukkah if you're of a less fictional faith. I'm Jewish, so my menorah is burning right here, so that's nice. And yeah, excited to get back. I listened to the last half hour of the last show just to kind of get a vibe, and yeah, the Imperial troops are in the building, so it will be interesting to see what's going on over in the Sedgelands where the game began. And what season are we in? Are we like closing in
Winter.
on winter?
I
think
believe
so,
we
yeah.
are
And then we're
now
straight up
officially
winter, actually.
In winter.
Okay.
It's the
Maybe.
start of winter, so maybe it's not the deepest of snows, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, winter
Sounds good.
isn't coming. Winter is here right now.
Right. Yeah, just like the Starks warned us. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get going and see what the heck happens, because I never know, and it's fun to play to find out with you all. 'Cause
Yeah.
you all do exciting, cool stuff.
A giant pile of
Uh,
snow outside, so I'm in the correct mood here.
There you go. Our snow melted, which is a bummer. It hit the 50s today, and it all went away. So okay.
Had snow 4 months ago. It lasted until it hit the ground, and then it melted immediately.
Gotcha.
I live a deprived life.
Uh, I think you're doing great. I that sounds kind of lovely. But this time of year, the snow is actually kind of pretty. It's when it gets into February and March and April when it starts to grind on you, and you wish the great wolf in the sky would vomit out the sun, and you get to see some daylight. So I think we're in down. Are we in downtime? Did we? Was the job the
That's a
duel?
good question. Yeah, the
Yes,
job was the
The
duel.
job was the duel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe we ended after the entanglement just to give some leadway into figuring out that was going to go down in downtime and then hit downtime.
My notes say, make sure to make a clock for Resurrection of Fjoreg Keep. Deal with Imperial troops in the Sedgelands, specifically at Belheather. Okay.
I also have a question, because I'm now trying to reconstruct the timeline of our jobs. Does anyone remember what our second job in summer was? We befriended Drosten.
Yeah.
We allied with Katia. We took Daggerkeep.
Yeah. Are we missing a job?
What happened after that is my question. Because I'm pretty sure then at the opening of autumn we did the Avon's job, I think. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure.
It's
Yep.
like the tip of my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
like,
sort
did we
it.
do a social job
I think
consolidating?
was it something in Southern Market or was it?
No, because that was Katia. Oh yeah, we did. We had to do some kind of job in Belheather, I think.
Yeah, I
Because
think we
Daggerkeep
showed up
isn't
Belheather.
technically a holding.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Mechanically, what happened to Daggerkeep?
Or no, are we forgetting the job or the sortie, we should say? Are we forgetting the sortie in which we like basically broke into the merchant's room and talked her into?
No, I've got that.
You got that?
I've got
Okay.
a second one.
Yeah, Daggerkeep was to take Belheather, basically.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Yeah, we should have named these jobs.
Oh well.
In which case,
We'll
are
figure
we
it out.
actually-
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
I don't think it really matters.
We didn't
It
know if we
doesn't
were
really
going
matter.
to look past one or two stories, so.
I'm
It's
just
not like
like-
something
I'm just-
terrible happens if we're one season off.
Exactly.
But there was one job, like one Belheather job there, I think. That, yeah, we did between.
We did. I think that's our second one, actually. Because the first one was talk to Drosten. The second one was at Belheather to talk to the merchant, the
No, it
old
was in
merchant
Southern
lady.
Market to talk to the merchant.
Yeah. And then the third job was the assault on Daggerkeep. I don't remember offhand. I know after that we shifted and moved to Avon's, but I think there was something in between there. But
Yeah. Look, we'll figure it out.
yeah, that's fine.
I just want to keep good notes as the chronicler because it's my job.
Cool.
It's the opening of winter.
Yeah. So are we going to say that you all are kind of trekking back
Yep.
to
I think
the
so.
Sedgelands? And then we'll figure out downtime from there.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just take a
Oh,
moment? We have so much money. We have
Did we
13
spend it all?
coin. We have
Oh,
so
yes, right. We got money.
Don't we
from
need,
the
like-
pillaging.
Some absurd amount to go up another tier.
Probably. Still though, that's so much money. Your Blades crew could never, you know? Like, they don't even make vaults in Duskwall that big.
Nope. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a cold rain and snow and sleet on your way back to the Sedgelands through the paths that you've already been, and you are probably arrive in not Belheather, the little the Southern Markets. Probably the first place you arrive. But where do you want to kind of hunker down, or where do you want to set up shop? I guess is the question.
Whoa. Vaclem subscribing for 22 months. Thank you so much. 20 months straight. That's
Heck
wild.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Becklin. Do you I guess do you want to head to Belheather? Do you want to go back to Prince Drosten's bandit hideout? Yeah,
Austin doesn't need a bandit hideout anymore. He owns a keep.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are some. He's got some soldiers there, but yeah, no, he's at Daggerkeep, so he can overlook Belheather without a doubt, for his
Limited.
queen. Yep, no doubt. So yeah, where do you want to settle? Where do you want to hunker?
Mhm.
Some place that we can probably get some info, but not close enough that we have to take action right away. Probably want to establish exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, like, can we even hunker down in Bell Heather given current events? Which is to say, there is both ongoing riots and Imperial cops. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's a good question.
Are we maybe in the in Dagger Keep, so that we're close to Bell Heather for when we need to make a move, but we're not like living in the midst of?
Yeah, Josh, can we Judd, can we make it to Dagger Keep, or is there something on the route that's gonna get in our way?
I mean, it says so. The entanglement says that the Imperial levy is stopping trade in and out.
Okay, so what does that
Right.
look like?
That's a great question. So I think they've got, they basically, I picture, when those HBO behind the production scenes play, the production people talk about how for the Imperials in this deal, they wanted them to look like as if, the Roman Empire had never ended and just continued straight through into late medieval. So I think they've got kind of like a medieval centurion look. I think their supply carts are very simple and kind of elegant and can kind of like be put on their side and then put together and be made into makeshift
Barricades.
Makeshift barricades and towers. And so there are, I think they do that on every crossroad. And so they, if anyone comes by with a cart, they just stop them and take it, and take whatever's in there in the name of the Empress, and say, when anyone asks, they say, if you didn't want this, you shouldn't have rebelled. You should have talked to your fellow citizens and done your job.
Taxes.
Right. And I don't think it's even taxes. I think it is. This is like martial law due to unrest.
Mm.
And
the starve them out theory of how to deal with that.
Yeah, like stopping trade will get the local lords, attention.
And if the people are hungry, they're not going to have as much energy to be out in the streets, right? Like,
there's probably some bullshit logic like that. Yeah. For these lovely folks. So yeah, I think that's what it looks like. And I think wherever you stop, there are probably letters waiting for you. So yeah, where do you stop, I guess is the question. Because I don't think your crew would necessarily even draw Imperial attention, right? Because it doesn't look like you're trading anything. You're not like, excuse me, in a carriage full of radishes, right? So
that's what you think, Joe.
that is what I think.
It's one of the bad decisions we're gonna make.
We always travel by cabbage.
I was about to say it's cabbages.
Cabbages, yeah. So yeah, I think you could. I think it's pretty easy for you to walk through right now, because what they're trying to do is stop trade, not, they're not looking for the Witch Queen at this point. So yeah, where do you want to hold up for the winter and deal with your downtime? Your Majesty, do you want to make a executive decision? Do you want to go to Drostan's castle that you bequeathed to him? Do you want to, we said that Katir, the merchant who you dealt with, she had warehouses that were pretty well defended, and her people are probably pretty well backed up and kind of a mess. Or you can, head to head to the old burnt out husk of the tavern where this whole mess started. And,
I mean,
and
that'd be poetic.
yeah,
Um,
There's a
That is a-
monastery in the woods. Was the other thing.
there was a monastery in the woods.
I mean, Dagger Keep is where the Imperial Vault was. Is that correct?
no, that was always in
Valheather itself.
that was always in Belheather.
Okay. I'm
That was built by the long ago Queen of the Segulans so she could have her affair with the Empress of the time.
sure.
Yep.
But Dagger Keep has Drosten and troops, people that are allied to us, right?
Yep.
Let's unless the three of us are planning to handle this whole situation ourselves.
Yeah. This feels very much like we have to go and do a sortie about this, not like we get it done in downtime or free.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
Just because like there's a lot of unrest to quell. I think we still have to like do some healing, right?
Mhm.
And
Well, it's also like if we attack actual Imperial guards, like can we take them out is less of a question. It's the fact that it's going to destroy our heat equivalent in this game, right? Like the Empress is going to be none too happy with it. So this does feel like a sortie. I agree, but like I'm not 100% sure that we can flex on them.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do this.
I think it's probably a case of like we go to Drosten to like settle in, finish healing up, get the lay of the land with a plan that like at the midwinter feast or whatever we'll like go go down there and try and make some kind of social whatever and
Cool.
clear all this bullshit up.
Sounds good.
Is that like does that sound good to people?
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah, sounds like a good way to
Yeah.
ease into a sortie.
Yeah, and I think when you get there, Drosten like dumps a bunch of letters on a table on a desk, and says these are the missives that have been sent to us from local merchants who have been trapped here. They start polite, and he like grabs a bunch, and then he like grabs a bunch in the middle that he's got no cataloging system to speak of. This is where they start to get angry. And this is where like I think this guy said he was going to hire an assassin. He definitely inferred it. I'm not the greatest reader, but I'm pretty sure he inferred it.
Aaron takes that letter. In fact, actually, I think Aaron takes the bundle of letters and starts
Cool.
flicking through them.
Yeah, I think when Aaron takes it, like Drosten like sighs in relief, like audibly, like thank goodness.
Yeah.
I did not know.
My problem anymore.
Did not know it was going to be this much reading.
And I think Kale perhaps like shakes her head a bit dismissively and says, that's the thing when one has a considerable amount of say and power over a situation is one has to deal with it. I don't think he's like particularly like angry about it. I think it's just like a hey dude, like you like you're a vassal at some point, you got to deal with your own shit, which like I think Kale, the audience is like, well, that's exactly what Kale's doing. Like Kale's stirring up shit and stuff and doesn't know what she's doing, so it's kind of it's a bit hypocritical. But I think she's
Yeah, I think he bows as apologetically and says as ever you are correct, your grace, your majesty.
I've only learned this the hard way. In fact, it's still a lesson that I'm learning, but thank you. I trust with some good. I think she clasps like Drosten on the shoulder and says, like you're a man of the people. You understand their language. You understand how they work and operate, and you understand the trade. So this should be quite easy for you, I would imagine. Keep up the good work.
We haven't had any clashes, but we've had some scouts come down the road from Fort Bracken to the north. They're sizing us up for spring.
makes sense. I would probably do the same thing if I were in their shoes. There's a lot of chaos going on right now, and things are in motion.
Yes, Your Majesty.
So the north, and did you glean anything else from their apparel, perhaps where they came from, who they align with? There's a lot up north. A lot of people would prefer to see us dead up north.
They were. How do you Tarbh? Is that just Tarb?
Top, yeah. Top, yeah.
Tarv. They were wearing the Black Bull of Tarv.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Well, give me the maps of the lands between here and the Narrow Coast. Let me worry about Spring. You worry about the Empress. My solutions to that problem are only going to cause us more trouble.
Speaking of that, actually, Judd.
Yeah.
Do I have a reply from the High Scholar yet?
That was the last downtime, yeah?
Was it? Yes, it would have been.
Yeah. So yes, I think you do. Yeah, I think you get a reply, asking concerned about the Sedglins and what they've heard there, and asking about how the wraiths are in the areas where you've been, and just like just asking about the pear and apple crop in the orchards, that kind of stuff. Just really kind of
Small talk.
small talk. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, are people cool if I get us rolling?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it.
Because I think Aaron sits down to write a reply to this letter.
Yeah.
And I think in this reply, I think Aaron tells the story of Fjorg Keep, right?
Nice.
As an answer to the Wraith question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think so I think each of those bits, right? He asks about the unrest, and then quotes a famous play about a king who loses their kingdom because they didn't listen to what the peasants were telling them, and then asks about the orchards and the pears and the apples, and then quotes a bit of poetry about turning pears and apples to cider that is both suggestive of I think could be taken in either a sexual way or in a politically powerful way of turning sedition
into something ripe.
Yes. It's not subtle. And I think he even comments on that, forgive my lack of subtlety, but this piece of poetry has been on my mind for a while. And then asks about how the wraiths are, and posts, I think, then a quote of a very modern play that is playing in the Imperial City, and probably hasn't made its way to you yet.
Yeah, so I think Aaron's letter begins dear, what's his name again?
I have it right here. Hold on. It is Tyne, the High Scholar, Tyne.
Yeah, it's dearest Tyne, my thanks for your concern. Right, I think Aaron reframes the Sedglins question into it's very nice that you're concerned about me, but don't worry, my person is safe and untroubled. And I think, yeah, I think there is probably a play that was written at some later date probably is propaganda by, you know, like some kind of Marxist or like proto-Marxist movement that like rewrote the ending to that famous play wherein the king does listen to the people and it goes much better. And so I think Oren like, you know, talks about his health and like how beautiful the Sedglins are in the winter, and like
Yeah.
how, you know, he's been going up to the top tower of Daggerkeep and like watching the stars at night and how crisp the night air is, and then like tosses in a couple of lines from like the closing speech of that play, the revised version of that play where the king like talks about the lesson he's learned.
Love it.
You know, and then like full stop. And then just proceeds to talk about the prospects of the cider crop this year in more detail than you would expect a priest to be able to.
Right.
Because like
right.
he was one of those Trappist monks, and so he's just like, yes, well, you know, like you know, I was there only a couple of weeks ago and my dear friend works there, and like let me tell you about how well the golden crisps are doing, and like
yeah,
you know, it's not such a good season for the periwinkles, unfortunately, but like and just is kind of like, don't fucking metaphor with me about apples, okay? Like, and then I think, you know, like full stop, end of that section. And then I think at the end, you know, like thanks him for, you know, thanks him for like sharing this excerpt of the play, because like obviously, you know, it's like obviously under the circumstances, you know, like I won't be making it out to see it in the capital anytime soon. And I imagine that between the weather and the current political climate, it won't make its way out to Crevane, you know, yada, yada, yada.
I guess what is it you want to embed in here to try to get some kind of a response, I guess is the question.
And like, and I think this is the bit. Like, I think then we get to the meat of it, which is I think Oren writes a poem in response.
Cool.
Like an original poem. That reincorporates a bunch of the language from this modern play and the imagery, and it is a poem describing Kale at Faerig Keep.
Awesome. And is this and this
like,
is
tear at her
yeah.
right hand, silver hair flashing under moonlight.
Yeah. And this is to work on a clock to be Tyne's friend, yeah?
This, I'm going to use 2 downtime actions here. This is both to work on a clock to be Tyne's friend and to reduce unrest and get the Empress to chill out a little.
Okay. Cool.
Is my goal.
We'll make a roll. Goes, but, yeah.
Yeah. So for my befriending, like I think this is Sway.
Yeah.
Clearly. So like, you know, that's that. I don't think there's muchness to it. It's fortune roll. Oh, this is nice. It's not gonna get me a bonus die, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I think Oren swings by Kale's chambers one evening with like a third draft.
Yeah.
That he is very valiantly attempting to pretend is like a first draft.
Nice.
Or even like, I don't know if there's even that, like I think it's a copy of it. I think he like comes by with like a clean copy, and he's just like, good evening, Your Majesty. In the course of my correspondence with the High Scholar, I've found myself moved to write poetry for the first time in years, which
Kale for sure does she interprets it like, yeah, you're clearly into him, like, because that's the only like medium that she understands.
Why else do you write poetry to someone?
Exactly.
And I think Oren like misinterprets that and is like and like laughs and is like, yes, I know poetry is a young person's game, and I'm far too old, but I should have matured into essays by now, but it is what it is. And given that it's about our adventures in Faerig Keep, I thought you might like a copy. And he's not really doing a very good job of hiding the fact that like this is both this is both like a little bit of a significant moment for him, and also like he's a little bit self-conscious because he hasn't written poetry for about 25 years, and he's about to show it to like a fucking cultured, like, you know, very tasteful like scholar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he hands you this like folded up bundle of like of papers, and then kind of clears his throat and is like, of course, I would be very curious to hear what you think. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh god, I didn't open up my Rebel Crown XP sheet so I can start farming some experience points. Sorry. So make sure I have the PDF closed. It's okay. Yeah, I think I think Kale very sincerely like puts a hand on Arin's shoulder, if that's okay. And says, the thing that you taught me about poetry that really stuck is the weight and gravity and that comes with everyone's perception. My eyes are not your eyes. And so I think you ought to trust yourself. In fact, could you please do me a favor? And trust these words you've written, for they are from your own eyes on that eve. And while we saw different things and had different experiences, getting error reports. It's that perspective that you have to share, and it may not be received very well. That is terrifying. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to denounce the fear that comes with sharing one's heart on the table. And so like gives you like a little squeeze, like it's okay, like I don't be so like shy and embarrassed about what you've done. And then she like smiles and is like, "This is great, Arin."
Yeah, I think he laughs softly and he's like, "Well, you haven't read it yet, but
I know it to be
appreciate the
true."
counsel nonetheless, Kale.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
And so yeah, he sends his poem off to the High Scholar. We will see what becomes of it.
God, I can't wait to like talk to Tara and be like, "I think
And
Arin
the answer is Arin is fucking great at poetry.
Nice. And let's see how the letter does also in chilling out the Empress.
And is that how does reduced unrest work? Again, is it-
Hey! Does 3 ticks is how it does. Let's see if I can.
Unrest, relevant action. So
I have like a Blades Foo question, only because I have 1 stress spent, but I do have a trauma, so I'll have to like.
You'll gain 1
Bye.
stress. So your question is, do you care if you started 2 stress?
Yeah. Like, should I help now and like spend some stress
Nah,
to get some
because
extra stress?
if you help, you might get you might get to 2.
You might get in the awkward middle bit. You know?
Yeah, where you really want to be a 6, but you might be able to like get away with 5 or even 4 depending on how bad your vice rolls are. But remember that we cannot vice in this location.
Right.
Solace as it is here. Judd, how big is the clock for fixing Fjorag Keep?
I would say that's probably a 6 count.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Right. So unrest goes down by 2. So this letter is, I guess, somewhat reassuring.
Cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where I mean the letter's serving a double job, right?
Yeah.
So time raves to the Empress about the Witch Queen's witty
Triumph
priest.
in Fjorag Keep.
Yeah, witty priest and this amazing bit of poetry, and she on one hand, she's like, "Oh, that's nice. They're reaching out." On the other hand, she's like, "But she's got clever people with her. Let's not, let's
Yeah.
keep the foot on the throat because I'm not. I'm worried. So yeah, it's something like that, off at a distance, off camera. Cool. Yeah. What are Artair and Kale up to? What do we want to do next?
I think
Downtime set.
Artair's just gonna heal, and we'll see how good my first healing is before I decide any other actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I should yeah, I guess I should heal too.
And I should double check what my stress is.
Wraith Scar still is level 1 harm.
Okay. Wraith touched.
Do you want to do that healing together, Artair? Or
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Then
do you
we
wanna
can
do it?
sneak in a little bit of roleplay.
Yeah. That'd be great. Let's do it.
We could have it with tea, perhaps, because I know that we were prescribed tea. Perhaps there is like we had water transported down from like the mountaintops for bathing. Yeah. What do you want to do? What would you like to see for healing together?
Good question. Is it just the two of us, or are we including our friendly priest here? Do you have any opinions?
I'm good. Should we talk together, you and I? 'Cause I think we haven't talked together, the two of us, for a little bit.
So what does our recovery from our wraith touches and stuff look like?
It's a good question.
No, it's fine. I think what we're maybe doing, and I'm sure Luke will have opinions on the types of herbs mixed in this or whatever. But I think maybe it's just like a process where we actually put herbs between like hot compresses. So like it's almost like extracting the oils and all of that stuff. It's sort of like, traditional remedies. Used to in Eastern Europe, when you have a cough, you put oil with cabbage leaves on people's chests. It's supposed to draw out the phlegm or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I think it's just like we're putting like we're wrapping like linens like put through boiling oil or put through boiling water with like herbs between them, and then that's just like kind of a process, right? Like you're binding that around your arms and the places where you've been like wraith touched, and it's not the sort of thing that you can necessarily do solo, right? Mm-hmm. I know that Hollywood loves the idea of like seeing the person with the like string in their teeth trying to get it's not how it works. So like so yeah, I think maybe we're just like going through the regimen, if that's okay. Like this is just one of those things. To Artair, taking medicine is like exercising in the yard. It's a thing that he executes very mechanically. It's not a process that he particularly enjoys and he can't wait to be done with it, but he does it with like strict adherence to protocol as prescribed. So do you have something like this is probably not the fastest thing that happens, but Artair is mostly going through it very mechanically. Is there something that you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, I think like I think Kale first comments on the meticulous nature of like the way you're bandaging things, which is of course.
I think Artair's like reply to that is, you fight long enough, you have to bandage enough wounds. Like he's going through it very mechanically. He's he kind of yeah.
And I think Kale asks perhaps, this wound here, these wounds we've sustained, are they the worst that you've experienced or encountered in your life on this plane?
No. Most wounds that I accrue today are in combat. A lot of times you have to take a hit and keep moving. You know that, but you get used to the pain. It's almost an old friend. It's a thing that reminds you that you're alive. If it hurts, that's good. If it stops hurting, that's bad. But yeah, it's definitely not the stuff that hurts the most.
Kale like shivers a bit of that, but tries to hide it. And I think says it would be nice if we could quell the ill faith or trouble mounting in Belhither without more violence and death. Assassination attempts against our vassal would also be worth avoiding. I feel a bit bad for asking, since I know that winter is a time for holding up, ensuring oneself for the coming spring and summer, especially with the news that we've received. But you understand people in the inns and the taverns and the pubs better than I do. Could I perhaps petition your way with talking to those people, those those folk to quell unrest?
This is where I give you your XP. I think Arter frowns and says, "Don't you want me riding north, looking for a place to ambush the troops that are gonna come at us in spring? This is talking. It's not exactly my specialty."
Oh, that's such a good question.
I mean, if you press, you get XP, right? So, like, that's,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
setting you up right there, but...
No, it's so good. And I think Kale shakes her head and says, "I can't explain why, but my gut is telling me that this is where we need to be right now, where you need to be right now."
Well, we can deal with this one way or another. It just means that I'm gonna be in the passes quite a bit later when the snows come. Okay. I believe
Thank you,
Bara's
Liz.
still in town.
Perhaps speak with them and see if they can offer assistance.
Yeah, you know, he nods, says, yeah, she should have her ear to the ground. If there's anyone I trust to fight at my side, this side of the... Judd, is the Empire across mountains or seas? I was gonna say this side of the ocean, but I realized I don't actually know.
Probably across the sea. Yeah.
Great. This side, this side of the waters. Yeah, she'll be able to help us out. Also, where the Empire is concerned, I need to track down what the hell happened to Isbael.
Oh, and speaking of base of the ground, I perhaps suspect that Brother Arn is courting the scholar across the way at the Imperial Palace.
I think Archer gives you the, like, I'm trying to figure out if you're joking look.
And then Kale gives you the look of like, no, I'm dead serious.
What? Do they even know each other?
I'm just as surprised as you. I didn't realize there were such close acquaintances, and yet there was written upon those pages were surely rather intimate or expressive.
I'm sorry. First off, let's just hang on. What pages? Are you sure you got this right?
I'm fairly certain. Yes, they went with the mail to the Imperial Court the week prior.
I guess that's one way to make friends at the Imperial Court, although if I am hard pressed, I would say Oren was the last person I expected to go that route.
And we said that Kale like just beat red and is like, oh god, I'm doing the exact same thing with Una. Like this is so terrible. So yes, of course, that is one way in which to win the heart of the court, I suppose. Anyway, like so it clears her throat and like starts working her bandages like a little bit quicker, and it feels like that pregnant silence like settle over the top of us.
Yeah, our terror just sort of shakes his head and chuckles, like, okay, I guess that's the thing. It's not exactly bad. I don't even know how to respond to it. Kind of look. All right.
Lovely. Shall we roll some healing?
Yeah, we should do that. How do healing rules work here? Help, Luke.
That is a good
Yeah,
question.
so I think the question is, does the fact that you are following like Oren's prescribed course of treatment, like, is that enough for you to get to use Oren's prey rating, or are you just rolling tier? Like, either way, we're doing fucking well, right? Like,
It's up to you.
yeah. So it's either 3 die or 4 die, depending. I'd be inclined to say I think like this is very clearly a continuation of like, yeah, the stuff that we established last time in terms of like what
Great.
has been prescribed. So I reckon, yeah, roll 4d each.
I'm gonna spend a stress to assist you, so you can roll 5d.
Okay, cool.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's pretty good.
Oh, there it is. 5D. So many secret hidden buttons on this. I got a 5.
I got a 6, so I'm
Nice.
clean.
Nice.
I think how many 6 is 5? Is that
2.
2. Cool. I got one empty. What do you call it? Segment.
Yeah.
In which case, do you want to spend coin to bounce it up?
Yeah, because if I take more harm on the sortie,
It'll wipe
that
it
clock will reset, right?
No, or at least that's not part of the rules as written in this particular
Oh.
game.
That's
although
true.
we
That-
could
it's
try
like
to extend
Blades.
it from Blades to say that that's the case, but I didn't see anything about that
I'd
in the
rather
healing
not.
section.
Actually, if we have the option,
What was it?
I'd rather not do that. I'd like to keep our
Okay.
harm clocks if we can. That is, I think, honestly, the most brutal part of Blades.
Hmm.
The combination between healing is so hard and every time you get hurt again, all progress vanishes. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think, though, I've been doing some, like, napkin math. We have 4 renown. We need 10 to go up to the next tier, which we almost certainly will not get in the next sortie.
Mm.
And so I think we have 4 or 5 coin to spend if we want to. Because this next sortie, not to like, you know, like pre.
I have a different suggestion. Lauren, how about I grant you my extra action from calculating.
Are you sure?
Nice.
It's fine. It's just
Okay,
a coin.
yeah.
Gets us
I'll
through this
absolutely take it.
particular math.
Cool.
I was saving it for my second heal roll in case I rolled real bad. So-
Oh, okay, cool. I can just fill that in if you would like, because that scene was quite extensive, so I'm good to wrap.
no, that's
in
fine.
that. Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome. Yep. As long as when we touch mechanics, we do something like and talk about something about what it looks like or what it
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like
sure.
or yeah. You know, I mean, I'm saying that more for other people than you, Lauren. You've
Oh.
you've been doing this with me long enough that you're like you know the way we like to roll and the way that you and I and Strash do this and yeah.
It
Okay,
does
I got
mean
an
that I'm
idea,
not
I got
going to
an
get
idea.
a random action to work on restoring Fury and Keep, but it's all good.
Luke,
Well, this is
Luke
the bit
knows
where-
because we talked about it with them off camera. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, sometimes I say things for like camera purposes, and I'm not trying to like tell you things that I know you know. Anyway, that's fine. Okay.
Josh,
It's all
it's
good.
mainly just the case of like, this next job will probably net us 4 or 5 coin, and we only need 12. Like,
Sure, but like a
Fine.
coin is also an action, and I would rather spend it on
yes, that also too. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
like if I have to, I have an easier fictional justification for turning 1 coin into supplies they sent to Fiora Keep in order to help them rebuild it so
Yeah,
that we
for
can
sure,
get another
for sure.
place that we can decide whatever it is that it gives us as a bonus. I don't know. Most importantly, it's going to be a sweet ass keep with an ally that we like that's going to be empowered there, especially because we nuked the Primrose Estates. So
I mainly just want to flag like, there is no, like, we don't need to be stingy this downtime. We are in a financial.
it's fine. Well, if you
we probably even should.
you know what, if you'd like, I can make that roll, Jed. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Cool. In which case, Artair, who is apparently also calculating, is going to send. I'm going to spend a coin, Luke, to write a letter to our allies in southern markets, and I'm going to reroute some of the goods that are having trouble going to Bellheather and to the northeast. I'm going to pay some of the merchants that in particular may have sent some of the angriest of the letters, and do it in the name of Kale. Sign it with that modified eagle seal that I've been designing with my art downtime. And
Cool.
I'm going to see if I can command him to reroute their stuff east side. Does that sound fair?
Sounds good.
Awesome. I'm going to roll some
Yeah.
dice real quick.
I also see this coming out as you and Drosten are like looking over maps and playing silly miniatures looking games that fantasy shows love to do, and like you put a castle where there is none, and he says, "What's that?" There's no castle there.
There is a castle there. You just didn't realize it. As I think, that is not a castle, my friend. That is planning for the future.
Awesome.
So yeah, if Drosten is helping me do some of this particular finagling and sending messages and stuff, Drosten is a friend on my friends list. Can I get +1d for downtimes?
Yes, you can.
Boom! Let's roll 3 dice. Just gonna roll this and ignore the position bonus dice. 1, do it. 5. I'll put 2 ticks on this clock.
Cool.
All right. Cool.
There have been like 5 rolls. Nobody's gotten a crit. Like, what's going on with you folks?
We're not doing our
saving
strong
them up.
thing. Right? Like Luke gets crits on prey, I get crits on fight. Kel, I actually don't know your best stat off heart.
Cool. What else? What else is left for downtime? Who else has anything left?
Hell of a sway.
I have we still have unrest to manage, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we could use some of that.
What's our unrest at?
Still at 5.
Can I feel like because we're not in the place where there is unrest. We're kind of like
Next
somewhat next door. Yeah,
We're
like,
on that
sort of-
hill above it. We can go down in there if you want, Lauren.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like maybe for some unrest, I could work with some of Drosten's bandits to like deliver little like food packages or parcels or something, and then, like just sort of quietly like sort of help out without the Empress realizing that we're hurting the Imperial Guard. Or
Do you want to go and talk to the merchants that are...
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to write some letters to all those angry subjects and try and soothe their ruffled feathers?
Yeah, or we could have a scene where like you get together with the Merchants Guild in
Yeah, go talk to Katir about it.
yeah, like Katir gathers up all the merchants whose warehouses she manages and yeah, and you get to talk to them if you're down with that.
yeah, that sounds fun. No, let's do that. That's
Cool.
some kind of meeting of the merchants, and then
Cool.
sorry, I'm sorry to clarify, so I don't like get this like off base. The issue really is that the Imperial Guard are locking down trade into this region and
out.
and out, which is stifling all the merchants and causing unrest for like the average citizens that are living there. So the best thing to do is just to negotiate, like figure out some kind of like peaceful way to open up those trade routes between the merchants and the Imperial Guard. And okay.
Right.
Your food parcels idea may not actually be terrible. It could be I'm sorry. If you wanted to go that route, we could also talk about the fact that if the merchants aren't getting into Bellheather, the stores aren't open or stocked. So trying to do stealth sneak-ins of supplies might actually alleviate some of those angry feelings.
That'd be fine too.
Yeah,
Because you mentioned that first, and I didn't want to just like poo-poo the
Yeah.
idea.
Oh, yeah,
I threw the other one out. I didn't realize that everyone was just like immediately going to latch onto it.
I think it would make more sense for like the fiction established to like talk to the merchants. I'm just not quite sure if they're ending interesting like narrative hooks.
Yeah.
Because that this feels like more a thing that has to get done, but it's nothing necessarily plot relevant towards like K-Care.
Cool. Then
yeah.
like if you want to quell unrest by running food, I think that's awesome. Do it. Let's Robin Hood the shit out of this.
Do you want
Uh,
to?
in
Can
the
I
background
butt
of
in
one
on
of
this
these
scene?
shots-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the background of one of these shots, Brother Oren is writing letters. Boom. Okay, that's happening. We don't care about it. Let's get to the bit that we do care about.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, it's pretty clear here also. Let me just suggest this, and if you just want to talk to Justin or something, that's fine too. But we know for a fact that we're doing a sortie here next. Is that correct from both of my friends here in the game?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the only way to
Can
fix it.
we maybe do a scene that also includes a little bit of info gathering? Because as you asked me to, Lauren, I was planning to go into town and talk to my friend who's probably staying at an inn and probably has the pulse, and I was going to roll my solace for camaraderie there. So if you want to come with me and maybe we can hide some of the food packets on us, we could do like a 1-2 punch where you get to deliver some food and maybe get information from the people and stuff like that. Would that be helpful or interesting?
Yeah, that sounds super fun. I could also see too like the sneaking in food parcels and stuff and quelling immediate unrest, snowballing into like, okay, merchants, now you gotta sort your shit out while everyone's like taken care of, kind of. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Don't want people dying on the streets and becoming race, you know.
Cool.
Cool.
How bad a wraith is it if you die of starvation? Let me just check.
Oh god.
It's not that bad. Violence is much worse.
That's true.
Cool.
Is starvation a natural cause is a question though.
Yeah.
I think it's like man-made, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you could even make the case that if people are being intentionally starved, that's those whose death was made intentionally painful.
I can see that.
Okay. What do I? I'm blanking on what I roll for unrest. Is it? Do I name an action?
Yeah, it's a relevant action.
Yeah, that's what you
Okay,
do.
cool. Well, if you're sneaking food in, this almost sounds like a. Ooh, I see why I should have talked to the merchants. I'm way better at swaying than I am at sneaking.
It's
I
up
think
to
the
you.
question is-
Listen,
Yeah,
if your heart is calling out on trying this and you're not great at it, then you'll put some XP in it and be better at it next time.
Yeah.
Go with the story
Do
you
it.
like.
We'll do that
And,
then.
yeah, I think there's an interesting question here of like, does the camera focus on like the daring do sneaky parts of it, or the scenes at the tail end of like Kale pressing food packages into people's hands and like, you know, blessing babies and like.
In which case you can roll
Yeah, is it
sway
consort?
anyway.
Is it consort? Is it sway? Is it prowl? Like.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's-
We
That's a good
could
point,
we could
yeah.
also say that the sneakiness is talking our way past the guards, and you use sway to do like disguises or like to blend in, as opposed to like actual sneak is more like true stealth, right? So
That's a good point.
True
Yeah,
Stealth is
let's.
my favorite D&D ability.
Yeah, let's do the sway past the gods classic maneuvers. I feel like if we're bringing a bit of stuff in, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be a bit noticeable.
Sounds good.
Oh god. And the position effect doesn't super matter, right?
It's a fortune, right?
yeah, it just it quells unrest. So like we will succeed no matter what. It's just a question of how well you succeed, right?
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, we got 1 6 in there.
That's all you need.
That'll do it.
Um,
Yeah, I think you talk your way past the guards. I think you realize that. Well, what do you say to them?
Yeah,
What do you say to these Imperial guards? Yeah.
Do we dress in peasant garb and go in, or do we just like do you dress upscale but like we don't go in with like a cart and you just give them a look?
Yeah, let's go the fancy route. That sounds that I feel like they've been dealing with people who probably have a sob story every day. So
Or even like, is this the distraction while in the background
Oh,
of
yeah.
shots?
We're
someone
seeing
crossing
people jumping over
people,
the walls,
or, like
yeah.
jumping over fences and stuff.
yes,
like
I
that a
love
lot.
that. I see Ater like doing like the go 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 with like people while like Kale's causing a fuss.
And the guard goes to like turn away from you and just kind of like shout something to his mate, and you like have to like grab his attention so he doesn't turn and see them.
Oh yeah, and like the cots and like my caravan are like filled with chicken feathers or something like that, or like pillows. I don't know. something not that.
A classic bit, truly.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. It's super great.
Sounds good.
Oh, and I get improved effect from
Oh,
rolling unrest
dang.
too.
So
I have
normally
to
it would be
compliment.
3,
Really?
but because it's critical, we actually clear 5 unrest.
Which means unrest is down to 0.
Boom!
Cool.
Take
So
that.
does that mean the Imperials are gone? Like, what is
Mm.
that?
No, this is like how the Empress feels about this. So it may...
Got it. Got it.
This is a thing that I will just leave in your lap, Judd, which is to say that the people, the Imperials may decide, no, you know what? We're making a lot of, goods and money here. Maybe we just stay here and bully them, and then that's what the sortie is about. Or maybe
Right.
they're just like, we were ordered to do this till next year or so. Like, I don't know. We're not
yeah.
even 100% sure why they're interfering here. So it's up to you.
Yeah,
Judd.
yeah. Yep.
Actually, and even more specifically, having just looked up the page, unrest is about popular sentiment,
Okay.
which the Empress may then take action to address. The Empress doesn't have personal feelings about it until we get to Aya,
Got it.
at which point, like, she has an opinion,
Right.
probably
Got
a
it.
negative.
Well, bear in mind that rebellions, in the sense that a people's uprising, is incredibly bad because of how wraiths work. This
Right.
is why, like, duels and small-scale skirmishes are actually encouraged, is because
Right.
you get
Right.
any bigger and you're gonna lose an entire region. So, like, she doesn't want the people unhappy.
Exactly.
Because-
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the thing. Like, the people are no longer unhappy. That doesn't mean that the Empress has changed the policy response
Yeah.
to the prior unhappiness of the people.
Yeah. I think the Imperial Guards stay, and I think it's going to take a job to figure
Cool.
out how to get them out.
Perfect.
And yeah, if we're ready to do,
I still have an action.
I have
I
a
got-
quick solace, but yeah.
I got
Go
one
ahead.
more, sorry.
yeah. Sorry.
Learn. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I got a heal. I would love to heal in front of Drosten. Like I think I would like to call Drosten to my chambers while I'm healing.
Yeah.
To prove a point.
Yeah.
So if he knocks on the door, like I beckon him in with like the hand that has like the wraith, like the bandaged up like stuff that we just did in like the scene prior for healing, and like offer him to sit down. I think there's probably already like some light aperitif or like sort of nighttime snacks and stuff there, and I candle lit and everything. It's very like cozy and nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so gesture for him to sit.
Yeah. He sits and says, "Allow me to apologize for things being a bit of a shit show when you got here."
And I think like Kale shakes her head and says, "That's all we're dealing with these days. It's just fire after fire, and one has to douse them quickly, or else they set ablaze and torch the whole city." I'm sure you're familiar with that. You look like you set a few fires or two in your time.
Yes, Your Majesty. I've said a few.
Are you enjoying yourself, Drosten? Why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to take the offer up to oversee keep in such a manner? It doesn't seem like you're. I'm trying to find out old word for jam, but I can't give an old word for jam.
Your noble / ruling material.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're jam, Drosten.
You're calling?
You're calling, yeah. It doesn't quite feel like you're calling,
I
Drosten.
wouldn't have thought you interested.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's maybe more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but it is better than better than anyone the usurper would have put on top of us.
Oh, without a doubt. I think you bring a lot of skills to the table. You understand the people here. You understand how things have worked for eons, and that goes for the above board and the below board. Frankly, I think the below board's more important to watch out for, because people are tricky.
Agreed, Your Majesty. I know I have my faults, and I'll work on them. But
and you know that you don't have to do that alone. You know, we're only as strong as quilt is only as strong as like the threads that bind it, and loose threads, well, they fray.
yeah,
And I think that's like, you know, when Kale's like doing the bandages as she says that, maybe like the bandage rips or something.
yeah, and I think when that happens, Drosten comes over and like helps, and like, you know, helps finish the bandaging.
I think
says,
like,
yeah.
I think Kale like lets him do. I think she sort of even lets herself her arm go a bit prone or something, and like sort of
yeah.
gives it to him to sort of show that sign of like I trust.
I think the easy days of this campaign are over, and everything else is going to be a brutal fight.
And I'd rather have no one else by my side apart from you, Drosten. Again, I think you've set a fire or two in your day. Put a blade or two beneath, into some hearts.
And I think like he ties it off and says, more hearts are going to have to be stabbed come spring.
Indeed. You know what? I don't fear that. I think like sort of Kale runs her hands like down the bandages,
Yeah.
sort of nods and like sort of approval, like, oh yeah, this feels tight, and says,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they did there, yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think you can tell that like he's used to inspiring people. He's not used to people inspiring him. And he walks away kind of like, oh, like, you know, like you can see like, I don't know, puzzlement or something. Like he's just like, oh, that's what that's like. Like, yeah, I think he's in a little bit of shock when he leaves, in a good way. In a good way.
Aw.
Yeah. Cool. That was awesome. Love it. I love seeing what kind of queen Cal is.
Oh
or
yeah,
is
me
going to
too.
be.
I was looking forward to like checking in with the with the vassals to see what that
Yeah.
would look like, and it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Especially when you were like so hard, you were hard on him in public, and then like you kind of, I love how you kind of smoothed it.
I'm glad. I was hoping it would come off like you fucked up, you bastard. And then
Yeah,
behind
I like
the
it.
scenes, feel like it's okay. Like,
I love it. Love it.
Drosten just casually breaking the fourth wall there too.
yeah. Oh, so good.
Awesome.
I will pip my last healing segment, and now I'm healed.
Cool. What else we have left to do?
I think that's me. I think it's a
I
We have to do a quick solace. I think Luke has one more action.
One more action, and then I might spend coin for another.
Okay.
Because I want to solace and heal.
You can't solace. Specifically,
even
Bellheather is cut off from solace.
Oh, that's right.
That's true, but that was from memory. Bellheather was my service one. It was. I can
No,
still
it was
play.
prayer.
Yeah, so in which case I can just do service because we've got two.
Okay. I don't actually know how that works out.
Yeah, this is the bit where I'm just trying to remember. Is that like even part of the game, or will we all just like I want multiple of these because they're cool?
It did say it.
Strash, you do yours.
I don't know.
I'm gonna review the notes.
I realized I have one pip to put in the make Una a friendly contact clock, so I'll just I'll fill it in. I think like it could be brushed away with like a letter that Kayla writes without telling anyone about it because she's embarrassed for fumbling in front of Altair and just feeling self-conscious about her words. And I think like it's probably not the best like a letter that she's written, but I think it's very honest and speaks like the raw, like you have to put your heart, like bleeding heart, beating on the table, like in front of this person.
If you have an extra pip, I'd love one on my my friendship clock.
Heck yeah,
You can give me some edits from my poem.
yes, yeah. I totally give you some notes on the phone.
Cool.
Okay, I now have Una as a friendly contact. I'll add her in now.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, and I think you get a letter from Una over the course of the winter.
Oh.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I think she lets you know what's going on up in Hawthorne, right? In order to fund, a standing army, Maddock has, where the heck is it? Why can't I find it? There it is. In order to fund a standing army, Maddock has sold the tax rights to the city and one of his holdings, the Ling Downs. So there are all these like up-jumped merchants who are now nobles because they can collect taxes.
Oh.
And that's causing a lot of problems.
Oh.
There are royalists who say that Maddock is being led astray because they don't want to be traitors and say that he's wrong, right? So they just the way that you say the king is wrong is you say the king's being led astray by his counselors. And then there are these new nobles who are kind of clashing, and yeah, Hawthorne is a bit of a mess.
Dang.
You are not the only one dealing with problems.
That's very much like Una could kiss you moment, except when she's not in my proximity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just have to think it.
And I think, yeah, that's it.
Excellent.
Cool.
Thank you.